Conor McGregor, style, confidence, Oprah's wealth, and Tony Robbins' mindset without ever entering the ring or having to step out of your own home for that matter. I want to tell you that it is possible, completely possible. And I actually, like the genius that I am, came across this method for manifestation while I was at acting school. And I didn't realize that this was a method for manifestation because I rocked up to acting class and realized that teaching me method acting and what they actually were teaching me at drama school was identity shifting. So I want to share with you a simple framework that I created to identity shift and become the highest, best version of me before my bank account said that I had the wealth, before my outer reality said that I was living La Vida Loca, and before my mindset was ready to change, how I was able to identity shift and become the person I dreamed of being. I had to show up first internally, and then my outer reality said the exact same thing. So I want to share that exact same framework with you. I have adapted it along the way to make it more accessible. So if you are not a method actor or you never want to get up on stage and become a method actor, this is a really simple, easy framework you can use to identity shift, to become the person you always have dreamed of being, and how to step into that reality even when your current outer reality says, no way, Jose. Who is Jose anyway? You know what I mean? Okay, fantastic. So here is the framework. I want you to take notes. I want you to listen up. I want you to get involved. Mel, hello. Philippa, hello. I want you to really just get in there, ask me questions, ask away. And we are going to have a really fun session diving deep into how you guys can use method acting techniques to methodically become the character, the main character in your life, and the person you dreamed of being. Oh, this is so great. This is so great. So we're going to take some notes, okay? I like to call this framework my scene framework, okay? That's SCENE, scene. How to identity shift using method acting techniques. Okay, so the S, hello Kim, the S in scene stands for scripting your character. So I want you to close your eyes for a second, and I want you to picture the ideal version of yourself, and you are going to script your character. You are going to script the bio of your character. Hello, Shannon, my darling. Shannon is actually the queen of this stuff. She could be teaching this as well, okay? So basically, I want you to create a character bio which is so detailed that it really paints the picture of who your ideal future self is and describes their character in the most minutest detail. Okay? So you are going to define your ideal character as if it were a role that you have been cast in. Okay? So, who is your future self? You're going to ask yourself that question first. Who is your future self? What do they believe in? What do they wear? What do they eat? What do they say? So when you are painting a picture of this character and you are creating a character bio, I want you to go in as much detail as possible and ask yourself these questions and think about it, because you are going to paint this ideal version of yourself, embody this ideal version of yourself, be, do, have, and become the main character in your life, the character you always dreamed of being. Okay? The next thing I want you to ask yourself is, what's their energy like? When they walk into a room, do people stop and stare? Do they all, what is their vibe? Are they high vibing? Okay? And what are their daily habits? Lebs are full. Hello, my darling. Okay? So the S stands for scripting your character, and you are going to ask yourself these questions and really just in as much detail as possible. You're going to define your main character energy, and this is going to help you step into that main character energy. Okay, so I want you to write about a 1-page character breakdown, just like a casting sheet, okay, where you are going to include traits like lifestyle, mindset, characteristics, and you're going to map this out for yourself in as much detail as possible. The C in scene stands for connecting to their core. Now we're going to deep delve into the inner world of this character, understanding the inner world of this character, their motivations, their fears, their desires. So I want you to, in as much detail as possible, write down what drives this version of you, what limiting beliefs this version of let me start again there. What limiting beliefs have they overcome? Okay. And what do they deeply care about? So this is all about setting up the mind shift, the mindset of your character and being able to connect to their core. So the exercise here is to answer these questions, but also journal as your ideal self. I used to believe X, but now I believe and I step into Y. Hello, Mo. We are manifesting like it is nobody's business using method acting techniques. If you have just joined us, this stuff is power. We are getting to the scene of the character, how to create the ideal character, the main character in your life, the character you've always dreamed of being. Right. So that moves us on to the E. Okay. The E in scene, embody the energy. So now I want us to think of shifting our physicality, our voice, our presence in order to match our future self. So how does that future self, ideal version of ourself, speak? How do they breathe? What is their posture? What is their pace, their tone, their eye contact like? Okay? So I want you to record a short video as your ideal self. Standing, breathing, getting into their posture, speaking. What is their pace, their tone, their eye contact? Okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be, you just have to do it, right? And you have to experiment. You've got to be willing to fail and try things and see what posture, what pace, what tone, what eye contact feels right for you. So now we're talking about embodying the physicality of the character. N in scene stands for normalizing the narrative. Now what I want you to do, now that you have the character, you've scripted the character, now that you've connected to their core and you've embodied the energy, how do we start to normalize the narrative? And that means make this identity part of your daily life through repetition. Okay? So how do we rehearse? Now it's time for the method actor to start rehearsing. How do we start behaving as if daily? So even in small ways. What are small things that we can start to pick up on a daily basis that allow us to embody this character? How do we anchor routines? So things like morning rituals, affirmations, mirror work. How does this character start to think, start to feel, start to show up every day? And how do we use little routines, affirmations, mirror work to start to embody that version of the character? How do we start to feel comfortable with letting other people around us see this new version of ourselves? So maybe it is making a commitment to show up every day live on socials as this new version of yourself. So the exercise here is I want you to pick one moment each and every day to step into the character fully. I want you to be aware and step into the character, whether it's in a conversation, on camera, live, okay, or showing up in front of your pet, okay, at first. Whatever you gotta do to show up as this character. Hi, Sam. To show up as this character first as yourself in your own space, but then start to show up as this character daily in front of other people. Okay? The final E stands for expanding the edges. Now, what do I mean by that? I want you to now stretch out of your comfort zone, and to grow into this role permanently. And what that takes is by saying yes to the things your old self would avoid, to take actions aligned with your new identity. And when fear shows up, I want you to step into that new version of yourself, the new shifted identity, and to say, what would the future version of me do now? What would the ideal version of me do now? What would the main character of this movie that I'm creating do now? Here's an exercise to go along with it. I want you to create a brave act of the week, aligned with your future self. And I want you to do something that the old version of you would never even dream of doing ever. Whether it is going and attending an event solo and showing up as the best version of yourself, putting yourself or going live as the best version of yourself, so putting yourself out there globally, okay, or committing to post on social media as often and as much as possible. Okay, if you follow these 5 steps, the simple 5-step framework to show up as the main character in your life, you too can identity shift, and get the confidence of Conor McGregor, the wealth of Oprah Winfrey, the mindset of Tony Robbins when your outer reality is screaming no at the moment. You can have it show up in your life before you feel ready. Now, if we think of method acting, why this is such a successful, proven technique to create the reality of your dreams, let's look at Beyonce. Beyonce needed to show up as Sasha Fierce for her to create billions. Okay, so I want you to define, use the simple technique, use the simple framework that I've created to define your Sasha Fierce and show up as her daily. Angel Doves, I was so excited to share this framework with you because for those of you who are feeling stuck, for those of you who are feeling like you needed a shift and didn't know how to start or where to start, this is a really simple, easy technique that you can use. You guys know me. Hello, Talent Beauty Studio. I am going to be going live all the time and sharing these tools, these techniques, these frameworks that I've created to help you become the best version of yourself using comedy techniques. Angel Doves, if this inspired you in any way, shape, or form, I want you to share it with somebody who could use it, somebody who could benefit. I want you to like, share, subscribe, and join me on the rest of my lives where you guys can grow and expand, and together we can all become the ideal version of ourselves using comedy techniques. Angel Doves, remember to stay hilarious.